All right, well, hey everybody, my name is Jason Everett, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can tell I am joined today by Stephen Kremple of Kremple Communications, and I am totally excited because a lot of you that watch these videos, you know, I'm a pretty outgoing, extroverted person, but sometimes I have people who come up to me and they say, Jason, you know, I'm not like you. That's not how I operate. How do I operate in the workplace if I'm not as outgoing and I still want to stand out? And I want to tell you that's what Stephen is going to talk about on our video today. So Stephen, welcome to the call.
Thank you very much, Jason. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. So I'm excited to have you on. And just so you guys know, a quick context and background of Stephen. Stephen has a giant resume. And what I mean by that is he has worked with some really big companies. So when I met Stephen, you were doing some work with Yum Brands, which was over doing some work in the Middle East. And they were doing work for KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and dealing with, you know, literally hundreds of franchise locations all over the world. And you were also, and I just want to write this down because I want to get it right, the Chief Learning Officer at Starbucks. Hello, that's pretty decent. Also,
Hello.
You worked at Pepsi, Motorola, and your gifting, Stephen, is in the ability to help people stand out. Is that correct?
That's right. You're correct, Jason.
Awesome.
Whether you're a new entrant to the job market or whether you've been around for 10, 15, 20 years, my job is to help people stand out a little more than they have been. And because some of them have been missing out maybe on the promotion or, you know, just having people think well of them in the organization, though.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And the reason why I wanted to interview you specifically is you just had a new book that was launched. It's called You're Hired, Now What Do You Do? And you've got a copy of it, right? I don't have a copy yet, but I'm getting one. So again, You're Hired, Now What Do You Do? And so tell me a little bit about kind of what that book is for. Where does it close the gaps? What's the purpose?
So here's a very quick question. A question I used to ask many of my friends and neighbors. Though they had kids in college, and I had two who have just finished college. And I said this: after 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars, is your child ready for the work world? And the answer is
probably not.
Maybe not, though.
Yeah, that's tough.
Academically, they may have got a good education, but they really don't do a lot to prepare kids for the work world. So this book kind of fills that gap because the universities don't do it. The corporations who are hiring them expect it, but that's the gap, though. So.
Yeah. It makes sense. And I know a lot of, from your other books, you know, the 5% zone, I just pulled them up over here, right? 5% zone, how to stand out as a global executive, and leadership ER, business ER. These other books are really about, you know, how do you stand out? So what do you advise people do, whether it's they're coming into the work world and they're closing the gaps like you're teaching in this new book, or in the workplace on kind of how to stand out? What are the most important things about trying to stand out, whether you're a new hire or you're a leader in a big corporation? What's important about that?
Well, let me just give you one concept that's in the book, and it's like the 5% zone. So the two numbers that you should pay attention to, right?
Okay.
95 and 5.
Easy.
So most of the time, I tell people, look, 95% of the time, you be exactly who you are. But 5% of the time, in 5% of those situations where you're meeting your boss's boss, or the CEO comes, or somebody comes from corporate headquarters, or there's a big customer
visit or something.
Yeah, a big customer. You have to step up. You are not yourself, though. Many people fall into the trap and tell me this: well, Stephen, you don't understand. I'm not like that. I'm an introvert. I go, I'm an introvert too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes if you are only an introvert, then you may miss the opportunities to not only stand out, but lead in the bigger and bigger roles in the organization.
So basically, if I'm hearing you correctly, is 95% of the time be that introvert, or maybe step it up a little bit, but it's just that 5% of the time when that CEO is there, whatever needs to happen, that you really are looking to stand out. So what do you do in that 5% of the time? If you're an introvert, and again, I don't relate very well to introverts because that's not me, but help me out because I'm sure people that are watching might be more in that introvert position. What can they do to stand out in that moment, in that 5%?
Well, let's put it this way. Most introverts have already thought about what to say, a question to ask, a statement to make. Though the problem is, then they overthink it and they go, well, you know, maybe I shouldn't say something, right? Okay. I'll let the other people talk. I'll let Jason talk.
Yeah, that happens.
But all they have to do is do something which we call a setup statement. And a setup statement is what you say right before you make your point. All
Okay.
right? So if you said, I have one key thing that all of you have to listen to, and then pause, and then make your point, people are going to at least pay more attention to what you're going to say versus just jumping in
Got it.
and mumbling through and maybe not be as effective as you could be, though.
Got it. So actually say something to say, hey, kind of like I'm about to say something important. I mean, obviously more gracefully than that. But like, well, I've got
Yep,
one really important point. Pause and then say what that is.
exactly.
Because what are some of the dangers? What are the traps if they don't do that? What do introverts tend to do in social settings if they're around other extroverts?
Well, the problem is they'll mumble their way in and then at a very much lower energy level, try and deliver something that they know is important, but everybody doesn't think it's important because they haven't kind of interjected themselves and showed that it is important, though. Actually,
Got it.
it's funny because, I'm an introvert, right? Introverts actually switch all the time, though. They know how to do it. They just make that excuse because in the organization, unfortunately, I gotta be blunt, right? In
Yeah,
the
for sure.
organization, they feel a lot safer, though. Let me ask you, if you ask me, do I act the same way in the office versus going for drinks with my friend?
Right. No.
No.
No. No.
Do you act the same way when you go to the karaoke lounge?
Right.
Probably no. Do you act the same way when you go to your mother-in-law's house?
Right.
No, you
Probably
don't.
different
Or your
in every
place of
setting.
worship. So it depends on your role, though. So many people, you have to realize, if you're a leader in an organization, your role in certain times requires you to shift the way that you act, though.
Got it. So the idea is, how do you shift the way you act in those critical moments in order to make a difference? And that setup statement is going to help you to stand out by kind of accentuating, putting an exclamation point on your point, but in advance, and then you say it, and then that'll help that introvert for that one good thing actually to stand out and help them to get a greater impact. That's a great tip, Stephen. Thank you.
It is, yep.
That's
It
awesome.
is, and if they even just do that one thing, in fact, now they'll start noticing what setup statements other people are doing, and just don't do the same thing. So give an example, right? You mind if I give an example?
Please, go
So
ahead.
if somebody says, I have 2 key points to make, right? You can't be the next person and go, well, I have 2 key points too.
Yeah,
Right?
don't copy, don't duplicate.
Don't copy anything anybody else before you says.
Got it. Because if you copy, then it kind of cheapens whatever you're going to say, right?
Exactly.
Good. That's another good point. So, and I asked if it was okay, Stephen, because you put together a report for people. You put together 3 ways to stand out as a leader with minimal effort. So it doesn't require, just like the things you gave me just now, it doesn't require a ton of effort. You just need to know about them, and by using them, it'll help you to stand out. Correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So for people that are watching this video, if you want to get a copy of Stephen's free report, totally free, just because you watch this video and listen to us all the way through the end, all you got to do is click on the link below in the video or around on this page, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of that report courtesy of Stephen. So thank you so much, Stephen, for putting that together. And I just want to make sure, what website can people go to in order to check out some of your books and resources if they like some of the content you've heard today?
Well, the easiest one to get to is winningintheworkworld.com.
Okay.
So winning in the work world.
Cool. We'll provide some links so people can get directly to that, winningintheworkworld.com, and we'll also provide some other links for you as well. And Stephen, if you could leave everybody with just one thought about how they could stand out in every situation, especially for those people that are a little bit more introverted and they're not sure, they kind of get uncomfortable. What do you really want people to know?
Yep. I want them to know that all they need to do is make small changes that probably will get them big results. So it is not about trying to change over a new leaf and become a born-again something. All you have to do is do the small things that will get people to notice you, and the results are a lot greater, though.
Awesome. So stand on those little changes that'll make a huge difference. And again, you've got some great tips. I'm sure there's tons more in the book, so hopefully everybody will get a chance to check out those resources. You got to get Stephen's book. He's been a friend of mine for the last couple of years now, and it's just a really great resource to be able to pass on to you guys. I mean, for crying out loud, if you could talk to somebody who used to work at Starbucks, Motorola, and kind of climb inside their brain, I would encourage you to do so. So Stephen, thank you so much for being on today. And again, make sure you get that free report. And Stephen and I are also going to be watching this video, and in the comments, comment section below. If you guys have any questions, throw us questions down there. But if you like this video and you got some value, hit the like button for me. Don't be a lurker online. Hit the like button, and in the comment section below, ask us some questions, and we'll make sure that we answer them for you. So thank you so much for being on today, Stephen. I wish you all the success with your book.
Thanks very much. Take care.
All right. Thanks so much, Stephen.